You're listening to WKCR 89.9 FM. My name is Dylan Farley. I'm with my co-host,
K Starks.
This is Notes from Underground, and we are both joined with Wiseboy Jeremy, hailing from South Jersey. Appreciate you being here, my brother. Hold up. Let me get you on the mics and shit. For surely.
I'm good. Am I rolling?
Yes, you are. Yes, you
Thank
are.
y'all for having me again.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Family right here.
Our pleasure.
Our pleasure.
For sure. Let's get right into it. So last time we saw you, or last time I saw you, was over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, a lot has happened. You performed at a bunch of different places over the summer. Did you have a favorite venue that you performed at?
Probably Loudmouth. I've done Loudmouth a couple times.
For sure.
I also did my release party at Loudmouth. Shout out to them.
Most
They're
definitely.
always
We'll talk
very
about that.
welcoming and endearing. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Sam. Always very, you know what I'm saying, easy going. And the space is kind of dope. And I have a lot of great show memories associated with this specific venue because the weather has always been nice. I've always performed outside. Even the one where I performed inside where my boy Kirti was opening for Mike. Shout out to Mike. That was great. Spot was packed out. I only rapped one song that day. My boy Tom came through and rapped one that day. So it's always love every time I'm at Loudmouth.
That's what's up. I remember last time that he was here with both of us in the freestyle, you said you was about to go rap overseas or something like that for the summer. Did that end up happening?
I did not, bro. Some shit gets pushed back and rearranged and everything.
Of course.
We're still planning to go overseas probably early next year, but there's nothing set in stone right now.
Okay. Any places that you guys are looking at or nah?
I'm hitting the West. I'm definitely going to be out in LA probably before the year ends.
Fire. Most definitely. You've also been doing some crazy other stuff. You've been on Shade 45 a bunch of times with Static Selector, hopping on them beats.
Mm-hmm.
Also been on a bunch of different rap pages over the past couple of months in preparation for this, this album coming out. What else have you been doing, to promote yourself in this area and also just, get your name out there?
I would say my main thing right now is just visuals, just putting my focus on the visual aspects of my album and everything. That seems to be what people resonate with the most and everything. You know what I'm saying? The last piece of that being Eyes Water. Shout out to my boy Mac with A4L Studios.
Fire.
And we got a lot more coming from the album and everything. I'm kind of just trying to put the pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
I found myself in a place where I was like, damn, the album came out I got to get the visuals out. But I'm kind of I got here by taking my time, so I'm not really in no type of rush, you know what I'm saying?
Most
I
definitely.
Kind of keep just moving strategically, moving with intention, and then kind of putting things out when they're ready, you know what I mean? So there's visuals coming, but I just don't have any set dates right now for anything.
Most definitely. Let's get into talking about the album. First off, which camera's on me? Pumpkin Seeds is out right now. Right now on all streaming platforms.
Everywhere.
Just to let y'all know that. And so we were here when he played it for us when you first came to the station, I think, with Dre.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long wait, but a great wait, you feel what I'm saying? And it's the second album from you, but in my opinion, it's definitely, the best. How much has the album changed, though, since, when you played it for us in the station? What was the evolution of it?
I believe I only changed the outro. I had every song.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
I think it was June, July, something like that. I recorded Flow State, and it wasn't even going to be the outro at first. It was just a random song that I had from a beat that Kirti had sent me. And I remember, when I recorded it, I recorded the first verse, it was fine. And then by the time I got to the second verse and I finished it, I remember I took the headphones off, and I was just like,
damn.
I just had to let out a breath. It was really, really meditative because it was this, I feel like I've waited my whole life to say these words.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it would be nothing better to close my album with than this song. You know what I mean?
Most
and I do like the other outro that we had and everything. But this was just a better fit, you know what I'm saying, through and through. And everybody that I played it for, they were just that's it. This is the way that you should close the thought. And then, yeah. So I would say since I played it for you, that's the biggest thing that I've changed.
Most definitely.
So
when did you record that outro?
I think June.
Okay.
Yeah, early summer, somewhere like that.
Did you call it Flow State before? Did you know you already name it that, by hearing the beat, or you were gonna call it that, you called it that after you laid the verse down and shit?
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I want to say that I called it that because of what I wrote, but the beat is called Floater. You know what I'm saying? But I did write the Flow State line, that kind of just came off. So I feel like that's just divine timing, just something that ended up working. But it definitely probably did plant that seed in my mind when I was writing the song.
And you said you made this outro over the summer, you said?
Yeah, this was June.
So, did that play a piece into why it took so long for you to, come out with the project? Were you constantly working on it over this, long time?
Because originally the date was March, right?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
And then it was August, and then... I mean,
Pump
it's out
faking
now.
us.
It's out now.
It
It's
is
out
out
now.
right
It's
now.
out now. So we're not hating. You feel what I'm
No,
saying?
I feel you. I
But-
feel you though. And
the
and
wait.
this is what were you saying?
Worth the wait. That's all I said.
Thank you, bro. And this is always a great question, and I do enjoy explaining it because at this point in my life, in my journey with everything involved with this project, like I'm so glad that I waited. But at the time, like it was very frustrating. It was probably the most frustrating aspect for me because I was like, yo, I want this album to come out. I want this album to come out. But as we were just talking about, if I put the album out in like a March or the summer, I wouldn't have had that outro. You know what I'm saying? Or I wouldn't have. It was just. Also, me dropping it when fall was coming was also like an unintentional piece that just made sense to a lot of
Yeah,
people.
that was
And
for
I always wanted to drop in September. Originally, I was going to drop last September, but there was just too many things that I didn't have in place yet that like my team wanted in place, my manager wanted in place, and even things that I was like, okay, I should get this in place before I drop the album. Just trying to establish myself a little bit more and just like figure out, you know what I'm saying, how to package this message that I have, you know what I'm saying? So at this point, I'm glad that I waited, you know what I'm saying, because this is like one time in my life where I feel really like gratified and I'm like, yo, I should have waited. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful that I took this time and didn't rush it out. You know what I'm saying? Because even, what was it, like a week or two ago, I think that the album came out. Even then, I was just like, yo, if I dropped this like 6 months ago, 3 months ago, I wouldn't feel like this right now. So I was just glad that I waited so I could just like hold on to that moment. Also, like when I first planned to drop the album, like before I hit this radio or anything, I was 20, I believe. I think I just turned 20 and I had like the album was just a skeleton of what it is now and I wanted to just get it out. So like needless to say, I'm grateful that I didn't put it out then. I kind of builded upon it, you know what I'm saying? Strengthen my ideas out a little more, and also like I'm a little older, so I feel like there's a lot more that I can handle. I'm in a better position now musically and just in my life in general. Like I kind of have more of a clear direction on where I want to go, you know what I mean? So
That's
I'm
fire.
very grateful that I just waited, stayed patient. Like it was definitely times where I was like, I don't want to wait, and there was also times where there was people telling me to wait and I didn't want to wait necessarily. But you know what I'm saying, I've definitely gave those thank yous, and I've told those people like, yo, thank you for just like holding off, and furthermore, thank you for the belief and knowing that like, yo, if we wait, this could be something really special. You know what I'm saying? Because if I didn't have those people in my corner that were telling me to wait, like I said, I would have just rushed and put the album out, maybe not having certain things in place, and then we wouldn't be here having this conversation today.
Facts.
You know?
Facts.
So
I understand that for sure. That's fire. That's fire, bro.
thank you.
Real quick.
Yeah.
One of those fall connections is pumpkin seeds, right? Because the title, pumpkin seeds, that's the only plant that heal, the only seeds that heal wounds, right?
Right.
So can you speak more about that, you know, symbolism and where you learned about that, saying and all that?
Well, I think I learned about it just kind of reading, just like about vegetables and stuff like that. But the album was kind of healing for me, and I definitely touched on a lot of those topics on the record, you know what I mean? So it kind of just made sense because, like, this album being my healing and me seeing this album healing a lot of people, seeing a lot of people growing with this album, you know what I'm saying, living with it, crying to it, maybe screaming to it, laughing to it, anything like that, like any emotions that can contribute or be a catalyst to your healing. I feel like you could use this album as like middle ground, and that's what I did. Like me writing these songs kind of helped me discover parts of myself that I didn't see before, or like even learn stuff about the world that I didn't necessarily know before, you know? So Pumpkin Seeds was just always a perfect title. And one thing I was talking to my homie about was like, if I have to stress about an album title, I probably shouldn't name the album that, because every project that I have, like every album title this far, it's like once it's stuck, and I haven't really had to think about it. And it also came pretty early on in the process, you know what I'm saying? Like when I made Still Children, I think it was like the third or fourth song where I was like, I'm gonna call the project Still Children. When it was this album, I think I started working on it maybe July of 2022. By September, I knew that I wanted to call it Pumpkin Seeds. So it's always just kind of been like a known thing with me.
That's fine. That's fine. I remember like when you first came, you just had dropped Do I Not, and like since then, obviously you dropped so many different singles. You dropped the EP as well, 635. How did you decide what was going to be on the album for Pumpkin Seeds, and like which ones you were going to keep to the side and like put it as like its own EP and stuff like that?
Well, the EP kind of was a product of people telling me that I had to wait. You know what I mean? And I was at when was this? This was after I dropped Pedal to Ab. So this is like late February, and I already had to push the album back for X Factor and Y Factor. And then it kind of got to a point where we still had to wait, and I couldn't get the album out by the summer like I initially wanted to, which, like we said, I'm grateful for that, because also 635 wouldn't have been born at all. And I was just like, yo, if we can't drop the album, like I'm going to drop some music, you know what I'm saying? Like with my situation and what I'm dealing with now, I'll just say that I didn't do this to not be able to drop music, you know what I'm saying? I did this to facilitate my path and put me in a position where I was not before, you know what I mean? So when it came to me literally thinking as an artist, like, damn, like I can't drop music, or I'm not dropping music, or I gotta wait, I'm just like, yo, like, okay, I remember I literally came to my label and I'm like, all right, cool. If we can't drop the album right now, if we're not gonna drop the album right now, here's an EP. And we'll drop this in the meantime, you know what I'm saying? Because my whole thing with waiting to drop the album is obviously, my teams wanted to put me in front of a more captive audience or a bigger audience in general. But my whole thing is like, yo, I have an audience, a very delightful one that I don't want to starve. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to make these people wait too long. So I was just like, all right, I'll give them 635 and kind of just like build a whole nother little world like within the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of topics. It's mainly healing on Pumpkin Seeds, like I said, but a lot of it has to do with like Jersey, my home, and where I'm from. So that was just kind of like branched off. Like 635 was kind of just like, all right, establishing where I'm from and kind of just like wearing that on my back, you know.
That's fine. That's what's up. I want to get back to Pumpkin Seeds real quick. For the cover of Pumpkin Seeds, it's really dope. But like, what's the meaning for it for you or for the album behind the cover?
So, the meaning for Pumpkin Seeds with me is the cover, I kind of see it as like a dystopian reality, but it's the future. You know what I'm saying? So like maybe the scraps of where we came from, but this is the future. You know what I'm saying? And we don't know what kind of wars or turmoil that we'll go through. So just imagine, like, you see, like, you know what I'm saying, the gravel ground and you see the 3 little boys and everything. That's all that they have. You know what I'm saying? The bike, the sack that they're wearing, that's all that they have. But they also have each other. You know what I'm saying? And they're home. And you see the tree has the remnants of an American flag. And my thing is, like, I made this album when I was coming home, where I was in a process of coming home, but I was still kind of confused, just like on a more existential level, like what's home when you're black in America. So you see the 3 little black kids and all they have is each other and like whatever scraps that they have to their name. You know what I'm saying? They got their bike that's like barely got a broken leg or whatever, and then you got the sack, which, you know what I'm saying, you obviously can't hold too many belongings in there, but they're good. You know what I'm saying? They're on their path, they're traveling, they're traversing their world. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what it was for me, because I feel like I had to really embrace my people during the process of this album, because I realized that my people is all that I have. My people and my home, you know what I'm saying, like where I'm from, the soil that I was bred upon. And I kind of just used that as like a catalyst to keep going through the whole album. So that's like what the cover represented for me. I'm not sure what it represented to the cover artist, because I definitely didn't explain all of this to him when I asked him to make it, or I came to him with the idea. He kind of just took the seed that I planted, no pun intended, and kind of just ran with that and took it very far, you know what I'm saying? So I'm very grateful for him. Shout out to Jeff Sambuco and everything he does. He's a beautiful artist. He's done another cover for me before, and it was just like a throwaway single that I put on SoundCloud. But once we did that, I always knew that I wanted him to like put something against like a stronger body of work, you know what I mean? And I tell him all the time, like, this is like one of my favorite pieces of art ever, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just grateful to have this besides my music, you know what I'm saying? I don't really see this as like an album cover or just like Wiseboy Jeremy Pumpkin Seeds. I see this as a beautiful piece of art, and I'm grateful to be able to put it in front of my music. I'm grateful that this is the first thing that people see when they turn Pumpkin Seeds on, you know? So shout out to him.
Was that made, like you said you only sent him a single to make that, or did
No.
Did
Like
you have everything finished already before he made the cover art?
This was very early in the process. I kind of just told him the idea for like what I wanted for the cover. I probably had like maybe six of the songs that are on the album today when I had that cover. So yeah, this was 2 years ago when he made it. So I've been sitting on it for a minute, but I always knew that like this was what I wanted to like portray and everything. So as soon as he sent it to me, the minor tweaks that I made have kind of just been there since that day, and I've always just knew that like I was gonna put it out as is.
Did the cover itself inspire your music at all after receiving that cover? Like the music that you started to make and like change up the album in any way, did that inspire it at all?
Hell yeah. Like I said, it was only like 6 or 7 songs that I had. So once I had the idea and I built upon it, this kind of like visually just communicated it to me. Like, all right, this is an album, this is a body of work that I'm gonna put out. And then every song, obviously, when I, you know what I'm saying, put it along with the other songs just to try to make sure my transitions were straight, or just make sure that I got a clear, concise idea of what I'm trying to say. Like all of that was associated with the cover after he sent it to me.
That's fine.
You talked about holding your people in South Jersey, where you're from, real close to you just a second ago. But one of the themes I noticed when listening to the album is distance. You know, I ain't been to Jersey in a couple days, whatever it was you said. You know, how does that, just speak on that more, you know, especially because it was in light of your career progressing, right? You know, being on tour, that's one of the things that kept you away from your family. So speak on that more.
Over and Over was like, when we made Over and Over, that's when we kind of knew, me and Kirti, we knew that we had a direction for the album, because the first song that I made for the album that's on Pumpkin Seeds is Do I Not, and I made that in July of 2022. And I think Over and Over was like the next month. I think he sent me the beat, and then like 5 hours later, maybe less, maybe more, give or take like an hour, I sent it to him, and we were just like, yo, like that's the intro. And that's literally how I felt at that moment, like where I was, the space that I was in 2022, like I was spending a lot of time out here, you know what I'm saying, couch hopping with my homies and everything, doing shows out here. This is when I first met the likes of my homie Lord Sko, Arlo Walker, so we were doing a lot of stuff together, and then I would come home, and I felt like I was finally getting a grasp, like, on my dream. Like, yo, I'm doing it. Like, these are the steps that I have to take to get where I want to be. And then I felt like I would go home and I would feel so stagnant. And then I felt like I was going through the same cycles over and over again. And that's what inspired that song, because it was just like, I ain't been to Jersey in a couple days. I'm on the road and I'm searching for something to fulfill me. I'm searching for something that I want to do, something that I feel like I could carry with me my whole life. But I feel like, how can I do this when, like, there's so much going on at home that I feel like I need to tend to. My heart needs to be here. My spirit needs to be here. But I just can't balance it, and that's where Over and Over came from. So, but without the long-winded explanation, sonically, when we made that, that's where we knew we wanted to go with Pumpkin Seeds, you know what I mean? And a lot of the songs that are on there, damn near every one, it was a collective yes, yes, yes. You know what I'm saying? Of course, there were certain songs that it was like, I might have wanted it on there, but Kurt was like, oh, maybe I don't like the beat too much, or maybe there were certain songs where he wanted it on there. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I could have came harder. And then all of those songs ended up going to the B-side. And that's why we have a 11, 12 song album, but we have 30 songs on the B-side. You know what I'm saying? That we're still sitting on, trying to kind of waiting to see what we want to do with them. 635, a lot of those were B-side songs. No, 635 I made in February, so that was new. I think Joyful Waters was a B-side song. And then Zion and Sacred Art was produced by my homie down south. Shout out to Devin Reval. But when I was dropping 635, when I was in the process of that, like, I went to the B-side and just kind of tried to pick songs that I kind of wanted to use, because that was my first reference point of, like, throwaways that me and Kirti had. But then I had 635, which was a really, really special song to me. So I was like, I think this should be at the forefront of this EP. So that's the 635 title track and everything like that.
That's fire. That's fire. The album with Kirti is amazing. Like,
Thank you.
Production for him is amazing. Were there any hardships, though, like working with someone else and locking in with, like, a specific producer for a project?
Nah, I wouldn't say so. Not with Kirti, at least. You know what I'm saying? I've definitely had, I want to say, difficult experiences working with producers, but it's definitely been a little more tug and turmoil working with other people. Kirti, he's pretty, like, especially with this album, we've had a pretty clear vision of, like, what we want to do, like, what idea we want to put out, you know? So, yeah, man, as soon as, like, the whole album came to be, because I had 3 songs by Kirti after I made Still Children, and I was just ready to drop them. I was ready to go. This is like 2-3 months after, and I gave them to Kirti, and I was like, yo, I'm finna just drop an EP, and he was just like, yo, like, hold it, like, let's make an album. And that's why I'm so grateful and so indebted to him, because, like, him saying that at that moment is the reason that Pumpkin Seeds is even a thing. Like, I'm not doubting that we would have went on to make a joint album. I'm not doubting that I would have went on to continue to work with him, but it was in that moment, him saying, let's make an album, and putting me in that focus mode, because I really wasn't in album mode at that time. Like, I just wanted to drop an EP and then probably keep continuing with singles and stuff like that. Like, I just came off of Still Children. I probably didn't want to focus on dropping an album until the next year, which still would have been sooner than Pumpkin Seeds came out today. But it was just the mind state that I was in, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really care to drop a body of work or nothing like that. Like, I just came off of that. So him being like, yo, let's hold it, let's be patient, let's make an album, and him just, like, wanting to build that world with me, and me kind of having the same vision for him. Like, me saying I wanted to drop the EP wasn't saying that, like, I didn't want to work on an album or nothing like that, because, like, I feel like that's always the common goal when a producer and rapper link up on the same stuff. But it was just at that moment, like, if he didn't say that, I kind of would have kept going on my path, and we'd have been in a whole different universe. So I don't even think that, you know what I'm saying, I could really speak to it too much. But, yeah, him saying that kind of definitely set me in a certain direction that I'm grateful that I went down.
Most definitely. How much time did y'all spend in the studio? Did y'all spend time in the studio together at all, or did he mainly just send you the beats?
Everything recorded was remote. We mixed the album and did the transitions and everything together. Like, I went to Virginia twice in the 2 years that we were working on the album to, like, put everything together, work on the transitions. But every song was just beats that he sent that were remote and everything. So I recorded everything in my room.
That's far. Did you have, like, any conversations, like, right after, like, recording it, like, yo, like, Kirti, like this shit is crazy, like, listen to what I just made? Like, what were the conversations during the process of creating? Did you just send it back and forth, or were there other conversations had?
It depends on the song. It really depends on the song. Like, there were songs like Do I Not was very early in the process, so, like, that time we were kind of both just collectively, like, super, super Joe every time we made a song, and we were just like, yo,
Super
like,
Joe?
Yeah.
I never.
What is that?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay,
hype.
wait.
Where does that come
South
from?
Jersey slang?
That's some
Yeah,
Jersey
it's
shit?
some
Real?
Jersey,
Okay.
Philly slang. But yeah, like
I'm
Joe,
gonna
hype, like
use that.
I'm so
aesthetic.
Joe.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
that's
no,
fine.
you don't want to say that because it's like, yeah, you don't want to say I'm.
Yo, scratch
But
that.
he's so Joe. Somebody else.
That's Diddy?
I mean, no,
Oh,
it's not Diddy. It's not Diddy. It's just like,
Nah, cause yo, like, don't say that.
Yeah.
nah.
I
But
was
like,
like,
'cause
oh,
it's like
nah.
you don't want to, like, yeah, like, cause you don't want to be too hype. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But like that, me telling the
Oh,
story.
it's like a hype, like a crackhead.
Yeah, like
ah,
nah, I mean, yeah.
nah. Oh.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Giddy,
Okay.
super. But for me, overseeing this moment and talking about it, like, we were definitely, like, Super Joe every time we would make a song. So, like, when I sent him Do I Not or, like, a Live to See or an Over and Over, it was.
Yo, sorry. He did the Bojangle hands. I get it now.
But
That's
yeah,
good.
like, the songs that we were working on early on, like, those would be the ones where we're like, yeah, like, that's the one. Like, this is the greatest stuff in the world. Like, yeah. But then kind of as the process got more matured and more focused, we kind of just like knew like there would be certain songs that I sent to Kurt that he knew probably wouldn't go on the album. Like I made this song called Kia Sage in the process of the album, because now with Flow State being made in June, the window of the album kind of just opened up. This is where we hit 2 years, or else the album would have only been being worked on for like a year and a half. But I made a lot of songs in the process of the album produced by Kirti, 635 included, where it was just kind of like, yeah, like this is dope, you know what I'm saying? But in the beginning, it was much more like we were very hyped to be doing it, you know what I'm saying? Which I'm very grateful for, because if you're not excited about what you're making, then you shouldn't.
doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So I kind of, I keep that with me, like very, very closely. And I kind of want to like restore that feeling, because especially when Kurt first started sending me beats and everything, I was like very, very hungry. Like I listened to a lot of the stuff I was making, and I was like, wow, I just wanted to rap. And like Kirti, like coming along was exactly what I needed at that moment, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
You keep saying like I was so hungry when I got these beats from Kirti. Like, has that subsided anyway? Like, I don't see like that you're not hungry or anything. You feel what I'm saying?
Nah,
like,
I don't-
what is the difference in like how you're feeling in terms of rap and stuff?
I'm just more focused, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so
Okay.
if you take Over and Over as one of the first songs that I made for the project, and you take Flow State, the last song, you could tell on Over and Over I'm kind of like really into it, you know what I'm saying? Like I kind of, my mind state was like, I know how I feel and I know exactly how I want to tell it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of like really, and you could tell even like the beat is more upbeat, I'm kind of more jittery, I'm like in it, you know what I'm saying? Like it feels like I kind of like recorded it like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then Flow State is kind of like I'm just sat back, and it's like I don't really know how I feel, but I know that at this point in my life I need to understand it, and me making music is the only way that I can understand it, you know what I'm saying? So you could tell from like the beginning to the end of the album, like it's not that I wasn't hungry on Flow State, but I'm just more focused, and I understand what I need to do, and I know that it's a lot, and it's like I'm staring at a mountain, you know what I'm saying? So like with Over and Over, I'm at the tip of the mountain or the bottom of the mountain, and I'm like, yo, I'm going to scale this mountain. But then at Flow State, I'm like, I'm still going to scale the mountain, but like look at all this mountain behind me and look at all the mountain in front of me. You know what I'm saying? So the hunger is definitely still there. It's just a different approach. You know what I'm saying? Definitely more level-headed and just more confused, and kind of like embracing that confusion that I'm not always going to know how I feel or exactly know how to tell it. But it's just like I have to tell my story. So that's where the Flow States come in.
That's fire. Do you feel like this transition as the album was, as you were making the album, or do you look back at the album now, seeing that just like what you just described?
No, I definitely look back and see it. Like in the moment, I kind of like the process of me making songs is very, very like regular to me. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm making songs, I'm not really thinking of a concept, or I'm not thinking like I want to say this or I want to say that. Like even when I made this project and knew I wanted to make the project, like I was still just making songs, putting them on the project. Like whatever ideas fit, they would go on the album. But it was never like, I don't really make songs like, yo, I need to have a concept, or like I need to do that. Like we used to do that though. But now it's kind of more natural with just like my approach. You know what I mean? So like if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, then like I still made a song, you know?
That's fire. That's fire.
What's the concept behind Seed Root? Because that joint is just, that's one of my favorite drinks off the album, just as a skit.
I just wanted to do it's hip hop, bro. Like I remember just listening to like my favorite albums, and it would just be like a hilarious skit.
Shout out Wu-Tang.
With it literally, and it would be a hilarious skit, and like literally this just came to fruition. But I've always thought with a lot of the skits, like, yo, I need to find a song that was playing in the back, or like I wish that they rapped on this beat, and that's exactly how people felt. They were like, yo, like seed root only being 30 seconds is so criminal, bro.
So
like,
criminal.
A lot of people,
Evil.
a lot of people weren't even paying attention to what was going on in the voice memo, and even that coming to be like, it was just the whole backbone of that was just satire. I just kind of wanted to like have a break within the album where you could maybe laugh and just be like, yo, like, I've heard I think it's between Pedal to Ab and Cost of Life, and that's where I feel like it's a strong transition between the album where it's like we're coming out of the beginning stages and now it's kind of getting a little deeper. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of just wanted to have that commercial break, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like, word from our sponsor type.
For sure. You talk about like talking to God a lot on this album and having a conversation with God on this album. Do you consider yourself a religious person? We had a good conversation about this with like Yoshi T a little while ago.
T.
But yeah, do you consider yourself a religious person, a spiritual person at all?
I would definitely say I'm more spiritual than religious, but I don't really consider myself anything. I feel like I'm learning a lot, and I'm trying to learn a lot. When I made Still Children, I was definitely going through a battle with religion, and I was just trying to like make my life make sense, and I thought that religion was the way to that. And then there was even a point where I thought spirituality would be the key to like figuring out a lot of the stuff in my life. But I've come to a point now where like I feel like you just need to use everything how you can use it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not a Christian at all, but I believe reading the Bible could probably get you very far. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of like using it as a handbook, using it when you need it, and even like being spiritual. I feel like there's a lot, especially with what's put out now, that's like very misleading about spirituality and stuff like that.
Give an example.
Just anything. There's a lot of stuff that people need to like learn deeper into that it's kind of like very surface level. You know what I'm saying? Like
definitely agree with that.
A good example right now would be astrology. Like there's a lot of people that like kind of put astrology, like they try to put astrology down, or they're like, oh, I don't care about astrology and moons and stars and all this other stuff because it's so like saturated with people who are only learning the surface level things about astrology, when astrology is like, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of keys that you can learn within it. You just got to read, you know what I mean? So stuff like that. So I don't really consider myself a spiritual person. I used to, probably like a year and a half ago, but I don't think I know nearly enough to tell myself I'm spiritual. So.
Word. I mean, shit, that's how I feel about psychedelics. Like people.
Facts.
I feel like people turn that into the gateway to, enlightenment, so to speak. And while you can't downplay it, at the same time, I don't know. In the past, right, with all these different spiritual paths, people had profound takeaways without that.
Right.
So, just trying to work that out.
For sure. I mean, it could be, that's the thing, it could be a catalyst, bro, but like you're not going to take it 3-5 and it's sober up and your life's going to change.
Exactly.
Like you got to do the shadow work, you know what I'm saying, while you're, you know what I'm saying? So you got to just use everything as a tool, you know what I'm saying? Use everything to your advantage, and that's kind of the process I'm in right now, just kind of being a sponge, soaking everything up, seeing what I can learn and how I can apply that moving forward,
Most definitely. So it's been 2 years since your last project, and you mentioned earlier how you've grown so much as a person, as an artist since then. But since this was your first project in 2 years, was there anything you were trying to accomplish on this new project that you didn't get to accomplish in your last one? Like you were like, damn, I gotta try this now. Like I didn't do that on Still Children at all. Like I'm trying to do this.
I don't know. That's a hard question, bro. I feel like I wasn't really thinking about it like that. Like I feel like I had different intentions when I made this album. You know what I'm saying? So like with Still Children, I feel like I was kind of just kicking in the door like, yo, I can rap. And Still Children was like kind of my introduction to there was a scene at the time that I was really, really trying to get a hold of, you know what I mean? And Still Children was kind of like my introduction to that. Like I really felt like, yo, people need to know I can rap. Like there's people in my hometown that know I can rap, but I need like the internet and everybody else to know that I can rap. And in Pumpkin Seeds, it's kind of like I'm not really trying to prove that to myself or anybody. Like I know that I can rap, and if you don't think that I can rap, that's cool. But with Pumpkin Seeds, I kind of want to slow it down and like tell my story, because I feel like I've never really done that on any of the projects that I've made, whether it's under Wiseboy Jeremy, under a previous moniker, anything that I've written before. Like I've always tried to tell an external story or tell somebody else's story, but Pumpkin Seeds is like I wanted to tell my story. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I did.
Wait, what were your other names? You had other names before Wiseboy Jeremy?
Well, you could look them up, bro. I don't want to.
Yeah. This is Wiseboy Jeremy. Pumpkin Seeds out now.
Out right now.
Real quick, I want to talk about the amazing release party. Like I just got to give y'all the props for that. Like
Love,
I go to a lot of different release parties. It's usually the same shit. Like either the music is just being played and there's drinks and stuff like that, or the artist just performs like 3-4 songs and dips. But this was like the first one I really felt was super immersive. I wanted you to just talk more about it because Kaleb didn't have the opportunity to slide with me.
Word.
So if you could just talk more about that, also for the listeners, like about what the release party was, the vibe that you all were trying to set, everything.
Man, the release party was everything to me, bro. Like, I want to give a huge shout out, huge love to my homies over at Neverland, Nora, Elsie, and the rest of the team. Since I did a show with them a couple years ago, I've always been like, yo, I want y'all to do my release party. And like y'all said, there was a lot of different dates that were being bounced around. So like it would be times where I'm like, yo, I'm about to drop the album in 4 months. Let's do it then. And then it would get scrapped. So like, yo, I'm about to drop the album the summer, and then it gets scrapped. So when it came time to do it, like I was like, oh, I'm going to work with Neverland. Like this is going to be our first show and everything. And then that was kind of the whole process. I hit them up. They were cool. And then they were just like, yo, they wanted to hear the album. So they listened to the album and they were like, yo, this is incredible. Like we want to make it an entire experience. You know what I'm saying? So everybody that was coming up to me during the release party, like, yo, what you did with the space was amazing. What you did with the space was amazing. Like that was all them. Like everything. Like all of their ideas. Like the printed lyric sheets and everything, or like the photo booth, or like the trailers being played, or
the pumpkin seed sign, and the like, old like you ever seen like when you're going to like some suburbs neighborhood, it says like Happy Halloween or Happy Thanksgiving, and it's like the orange lettering like on the lawns. It was that, but pumpkin seeds.
I got pictures I can show you.
Yeah, it was definitely wavy. It was definitely very immersive, and definitely did like what y'all were setting out to do in terms of bringing like that fall atmosphere. Right. In a time where it's supposed to be fall, but global warming is killing us and shit. So literally, we don't have that experience of a natural fall. But y'all brought that to us. You feel what I'm saying? Also, I love what was the artwork on the fence walls? Like whose artwork was that?
So there was a lot of different people. A lot of the people were their homies, a part of their team. So I wouldn't want to try to credit everybody and miss somebody's name, but I do know the people that I brought on to showcase art were a couple homies from out here, my homie Dylan and my homie Fredo. They had some pieces that were displayed and everything, and that was like their goal. Like they wanted to have visual artists as well, because like when I did the show with them back in the day, it was like a lot of visual art. Like it was like sculptures and like interactive stuff, and that was kind of the goal. Like I was like, I kind of want to do that, but like just a pumpkin seeds version, you know what I'm saying? And they kind of took that and they ran with it. And then I don't think I was originally going to have artists on the bill. Like I think that might have been a distant idea. But then when I first announced it, even I was just like, yo, I'm just going to do DJs. And then I think some things had changed. I talked to some homies and we were like, all right, nah, let's make this a show. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that was a great decision.
Excuse me. Let's not make this just about the album, because obviously everybody's there for the album. Let's have my friends kind of like come and, you know what I'm saying, just have a showcase of their art, you know what I'm saying, like so their smart output and everything. And I wanted to pick artists that made sense. So shout out to Blank Canvas and all of my brothers involved with that.
Shout out Nolly.
Shout out to Nolly.
She was going crazy.
Big shout out to Nolly. Shout out to all the DJs that came through, Baby 3, Foxy, and of course Kurt. Yeah, bro, we just wanted to make it something that people could remember, you know what I'm saying, aside with the album. And I've always wanted like the live experience, you know what I'm saying, like the real life situation to resemble the album and the feeling that you get when listening to the album, you know what I'm saying? So that's why the placement was just perfect. The album coming out on the 26th, the Thursday, the release party being on the 27th, because like you have time to sit with the album or not, because there was a lot of people that came like, yo, I didn't listen to the album, I waited for the release party. So you have time to do either or, whether sit with it or hear it first live, and regardless, you're going to remember the moment, whether you heard it, you know what I'm saying, the audio version, and now you're hearing it live and it's breathing new life, or the first time you're introduced to it is live, you know what I'm saying, backed by a band and everything like that. So I was very grateful, you know what I'm saying, the whole night. I definitely cried a lot. I had a lot of great conversations with my friends. Kurt did amazing. The whole entire band did amazing. It was my first time.
Shout out Arlo.
Shout out to Arlo. Shout out Tristan. Shout out Ethan. Kurt, I think that's my entire band. Yeah, bro, I remember just like breaking down after the show, and I was just like, I know that we were moving very fast during this process and everything, and stuff was so quick, and we were trying to tweak this and tweak that and just get everything right. But I really wanted to tell all the musicians, like, yo, y'all are the most amazing people in the world. I really appreciated them for doing that, for making this experience what it was for me, because without them, like, it wouldn't have been the same. You know what I'm saying? So I made sure to give them their flowers on that. And yeah, bro, definitely one of the best nights of my life. Like, we sold it out. The venue cap was 120. I think we had like 150, 155 people. So it was amazing, bro. And shout out to Sam at Loudmouth for pushing that cap for us a little bit, because I think that like an hour in, you know what I'm saying, like we were kind of stressed out about like just like denying people. Like, we didn't want to do that at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's never ever anything that I ever want to do at any show, is deny people or say that you can't have this experience no matter how late you come. Like, I don't really care about the logistics or the ticket sales or nothing like that. I'll come perform on the street if that's what it takes, you know what I mean?
For sure.
But yeah, it was amazing. I think about it every day. I've been thinking about it every day since it happened. So yeah, and I appreciate you for being there, bro.
It was my pleasure. My pleasure. One of my favorite parts was well, you gave a very nice speech at the beginning. You had a very vulnerable moment, which I thought was like super powerful. But also during the show, like there was one point where some dude in a neighboring like backyard just jumped up on the fence and was taking pictures and taking videos and stuff. What was rushing through your head at this moment when you're like, damn, people are actually going crazy. This is just my release party. Like this dude's trying to try to get in. He couldn't get in. He's trying to jump over the fence and shit.
It's hip hop, man. That's hip hop, bro.
Nah,
I was so excited because I was like, that's what I do it for. Like I'm glad that he could do that. Like cause we locked the doors and everything. So he was like, yo, I can't get in. I'm getting in through the back. You know what I'm saying? Like that's exactly what he should have did in that moment. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to that dude, whatever his name is. I hope he's having a great night. Yeah.
Can we get any? Are we getting any merch? Any Pumpkin Seeds merch?
Yeah, I'm actually getting the shipment on Thursday, so y'all will get that very soon. I still gotta get a lot of stuff in place before I announce it to the world. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it'll be out by the time this interview comes out, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I want to set in place before I put it out. So I kind of just want to make sure that we do it right, but it's gonna come out soon, definitely this month.
Most definitely. Pumpkin Seeds out now. Once again,
now.
Pumpkin Seeds out now. What can we expect next from you? You know, now that the album is out, what's the rollout looking like in terms of like shows, any tour things, anything like that coming up?
Couple shows. I'm in New York on the 13th at my dog Kai Crusade's release party at Loudmouth again. They're killing the release parties right now.
Might have to slide to that.
I'm in South Jersey on November 9th for all my South Jersey family, and I have another show in December. I don't think I can speak too much about it, but it's going to be really special. It's going to be my first headliner show in New York, so it's going to be very, very special. Yeah, I got all of y'all with guest lists, of course.
Appreciate you, family.
Yeah, but like I said, it's not really set in stone right now, so I don't want to say too much and everything. I kind of just gave the contract back today, so once we get a flyer and everything, everybody will hear about it and stuff. But yeah,
fire. Before we get to the freestyle and everything, first of all, I wanted to thank you, bro. This is the 5th time you have been at the station for No Smoke Underground. You feel me? So I just want to give a big round of applause for that.
NFU family.
Yeah, family, most definitely. You're part of the family here, bro. So I just want to say we've watched this album go from you having it as just a baby, as an idea, to now it being out. So it's been a pleasure watching the process and everything like that. And thank you so much for showing us love, reciprocating that energy and everything like that. So
of course.
Yeah, that's all we got. Let's get to this fucking freestyle, right?
Yeah,
let's get it.
Let's get it. Anything you want to say to anyone before you get off this shit? The interview part?
What you said? Youngest artist to be in the catalog?
Yeah, so Jeremy brought us some vinyls and a CD of 635 to put in the station. So he is now officially the youngest artist. Sorry, Yoshi. Yoshi was the youngest artist last week, but now he's got beat out.
Yoshi, I love you.
Yeah, so if anyone's like under 22, right? 22?
Yeah, 22.
Anyone's under 22, then you can try to get in, but I don't know if you're going to be that nice. You feel what I'm saying?
Let's just hold it for a second. Let me be the youngest artist for like 6 months, and then like y'all could come through.
I don't think I was going to compete, bro. I think you got it for a little while. You feel what I'm saying? But much love once again. Thank you so much. Pumpkin Seeds out now. This has been Notes from Underground. I've been Dylan Farley.
K Starks.
We've been joined by
Wiseboy Jeremy, South Jersey.
And we about to get to this fucking freestyle. Let's go.
Sir.
Let's go. That's a wrap, y'all.